Hello class. Today we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to talk about how to use Microsoft Excel, but instead of me standing in front of you trying to lead you through it, we've decided to make this video so that everyone can work at their own pace and I can walk around and help you if you need it, but not help you if you don't. So let's get started. Step 1, open Excel. There should be an icon somewhere on your desktop. You'll notice when you first start that we've updated to Microsoft Excel 2013 this year, so everything is ever so slightly different, but don't worry, it's all still there. So let's talk a little bit about the interface, and just in case you haven't used Excel in a while or possibly never used Excel. There's a lot of stuff, but we're just going to focus on the basics and we'll hit other stuff as we need it. When you first open Excel, you're going to be greeted by this wonderful blank spreadsheet. Now these rows and these columns, that's where we're going to put our data. And yeah, so if you click on a cell like this, you can just type. So hello, and there it is. You'll also notice that it pops up in this little bar up here. If you need to edit something, so if you click and go to a different one, and you want to go back, you can either double click on this cell and edit it, or you can click up here on the bar and type whatever you need to in here. So yeah. Okay, so and this is, by the way, called the formula bar. This is in fact probably the easiest way to edit something. So if you've typed hello J or something and you need to edit it, it's oftentimes a lot faster just to go back through the formula bar. So we're going to look at some of our class data. So you're going to follow along with your class data, and I'm going to use some class data that I made up for the purposes of this video. The first thing we need to do is we need to get all of your data into a usable fashion so that it can be graphed easily by Excel. So we need to kind of set up a framework first. So here's what you need to be thinking about. First off, what do I need to what data do I have and what do I need to do with that? Well, we have two liquids to talk about, a blue one and a clear one, and each one of those will have two measurements, mass and volume. So let's put those things into a table. I'm going to start and I'm going to give myself a couple headings. Blue liquid, and I'm going to move over one, red liquid. Not red, try again. Clear liquid. And under each of those, I'm going to do volume in milliliters and mass in grams. Again, volume in milliliters and mass in grams. By the way, if you hit tab, it moves over a column. Super useful. Now, you'll notice that our volume is cut off a little bit. What you can do is if you come up here and your cursor will change, and if you double click, it will go to whatever the longest thing in that column is. So that's useful for doing things like this. Okay, a thing to know. So that's kind of where we got it set up. So we've got what we need to get our graph done. We have a graph for the blue liquid, and we have a graph for the clear liquid, or data for them anyways, and we're going to take that and eventually graph it. So I'm going to start putting in my data and make sure that you don't put units in. If you put units in to this data column, Excel won't know what to do with those units. So since we put milliliters up here at the top and grams up here at the top, we don't have to worry about it. So all I'm going to do is type numbers in here. So if I look at my data, I have 24.4, 12.5, and 13.1. Something to notice, Excel by default makes decimals, like if I put if I put 10.0 here, it makes the 10 go away. It doesn't mean it's not there, it just hides it. If you really want it to show it, you come up here to the top, and there's a thing that says increase decimal. Click it. It actually brings up 2, and then click back the one that's decreased, and then you've got 10.0. Let's see. So back to my math, and I've got 24.31, 12.63, 50.18, 2.58, 9.94, 13.01. So I've inputted my data for the blue liquid, and now I'm going to do the same for the clear. So, okay. Now that we've got our data in, it's time for step 3. Let's make some graphs. So the first thing you need to do is select the data you want to graph. So we're going to do one at a time. We're going to start with the blue liquid, and then we're going to do the clear liquid after that. So first thing you need to do is select this data. You can select this top column. It doesn't change anything. Excel knows what to do with it. So I'm just going to select all 12 of these points here. Maybe. There we go. Once you've selected your data, you need to go to the Insert tab up at the top, and we're going to put in an XY scatter. So you'll click on that, and you'll get some options. You're going to choose the first one here. We want it with outlines. And so you'll do that, and suddenly you'll have this nice little chart here with these blue dots representing all of these data points. Now, you'll notice that there's something missing. Namely, well, we have a chart title, but it's not appropriately named. We don't have any access titles, and we don't know what in the heck we're talking about here. So we need to do some of that. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the chart. Well, you're going to make sure the chart is kind of pulled up, and then you'll notice that there's a plus button right here. If you click on that plus button, you can add pieces of the chart, which is awesome. So I want to add access titles, and you'll notice that they pop up down here. And I want to add a legend, and you'll notice that it pops up right here. To edit those things, you just need to, so you can get rid of that, you just need to double click, and it will bring up that thing on this side, which we're going to ignore. But it's also going to give you the ability to then have to select it, and then you can change it to whatever you're doing. So what is this, density? You should do a better title than this. Then same thing, when you do that, double click there, and you'll bring up the access titles. Click here to get those access titles. We can't change the name of this just yet, but I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So once you have all that, now the one other thing we need to do with this graph is we need to add a trend line, because I need a line of best fit. It's going to help us. So we're going to do very similarly to what we did last time. We're going to click the plus sign, and at the very bottom it says trend line. But I don't want to just add a trend line. I want to actually add a couple of things about it. So instead of just clicking this box here, I'm going to go to the arrow to the right, which is going to give me another little box, and I'm going to choose more options. It'll bring up this sidebar menu. Linear will be chosen. That's what we want. But we also want to show, if you scroll down, we want to display the equation on the chart, and we want to display the r squared value. So once you do that, you can make that go away. You'll see here that now you have this line, and in the legend they'll say linear series 1, because that's a trend line. And you can pick this equation and r squared value up and move it wherever you want to. Now, this r squared value, we're putting it on the chart because it gives you, it's a statistical value, and it tells you about how close those points are to actually being on the trend line. The best possible number you could get is 1, which we have here, and to be perfectly honest, that's kind of a fluke. It doesn't really occur like this very often in real life, so there's that. And then you have this equation, this y equals mx plus b equation for this trend line. So at this point, we've got our graph of our blue liquid, but we don't have the graph of the clear liquid, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, you'll notice at this point that up here on this ribbon, you are in the Design tab of the Chart Tools section. And so in the Design tab, there's a button here called Select Data. So if you click that button, let me move this into the screen, you get this box that pops up. Now our first series here, this is our blue liquid, and you can see it if you look over here, it's kind of being selected and highlighted. Now, we know that we need to change this. This doesn't need to be series 1. So let's click edit and change the series name to blue liquid and hit OK. You'll notice it changes it down here on the chart, which is good. So let's do so now we need to add the clear liquid. So you're going to click add, and you're going to get this little pop-up. The series name, let's call it clear liquid. And then we're going to click to the X values. Now, if you click this little button here, it makes this go away, and you just get this one bar. And you can come over here and say, okay, I know that on my x-axis, I need all of these values. Click that, and then this pops up. I won't go into what all of this means other than it's just selecting these cells on this sheet. Click back here, and it brings the whole thing back up. Now, to be fair, you don't have to click that. If I get rid of this and just have that selected, I can do the same thing without clicking that button first. Now in the series Y values, the first thing you need to do is get rid of this equals 1. If it's there and you change stuff, it messes things up, and so we just want to get rid of it. So once you've gotten rid of it, then you're going to go and choose the cells you want there. Now you'll notice that this made that you've seen dots suddenly pop up. Good, that's what we want. So hit OK, and now you have clear liquid and blue liquid, and these both things appear in the legend. So hit OK. Now, the last thing we need to do is add a trend line, and if you do more options this time, it asks you, wait, which one do you want? And this time we want clear, so we're going to hit OK. We want a linear trend line again, with the displayed equation and the r squared value. So close that, move it, and we should be good to go. I hope you found this quick tutorial on how to use Excel helpful, and if you need any other help, just ask me. Thanks.